Well, it's official. I've bought a Tesla. I know a number of you are not surprised about this and are wondering why I'm doing a video about this. Well, there's a couple of things, a couple of reasons for this. Number one is my family and friends are going to ask me a ton of questions about the Tesla, how did I buy it, why I bought it, and that sort of thing. Being that I'm from Canada, a lot of the blogs and videos that you see outside, out on the internet are all associated with United States, and they don't completely apply for Canada. So this video is going to answer a couple of questions. What did I buy? And then 10 things I didn't know, or 10 things about the buying process overall. So I bought a Model 3 Tesla in red. The red is a premium color, but I mean, honestly, look at that car. It looks sweet. It's really nice on it. So let's get into a couple of things that you need to know about a Tesla when you're ordering it. So first, before I do that, I want to give a shout out to Dan Toll. For those of you guys who don't remember, Dan Toll is my co-author on the System Center Configuration Manager reporting book. Dan has a Model 3 himself, and he gave me the opportunity to check it out with the boss, and it's a really nice car is ultimately what it comes down to. So Dan made arrangements with me and the boss, and we went off to the RA Center here in town. We looked at his proverbially kick the tires, and the first thing that comes out as tip number one that you really want to know is there is a referral code. So everybody who buys a Tesla, it's really nice if you use somebody's referral code. So in my case, when I purchased my Tesla, I used Dan's referral code. What that means is that Dan and I both get 1,500 kilometers on our respective cars of free charging. This is just a little thank you gift from Tesla for doing that. So if you go look at somebody like Dan's Tesla and go buy a Tesla, use the referral code from that individual. If you don't have a referral code, well, you're welcome to use mine, which you can see listed on the screen here right now. So that's one of the things that I didn't know about. The second thing that I didn't know about was I have a Buick Regal, and I was dreading the idea of having to sell the Buick myself, because I assume that since Tesla doesn't have a brick and mortar space, that they wouldn't take a trade-in. That turns out to be 100% false. They do take in trade-ins, and the process actually isn't that difficult. The process is quite simple. They actually make you take 4 pictures of your car. You take the front right of your car, making sure that you show the front and the side of the car nicely. Then they want you to take the back left, again showing the side and the back of the car. They want a third picture to take from the back seat that shows the interior of the car. And then the last thing they want is a close-up picture of your odometer. From there, they give you they'll give you a price on your car. The one thing that you have to remember is the price is the wholesale price for that car. So it doesn't sound like it's a great deal for that. You'll make more if you can sell it yourself, arguably, but you have all the hassle with it. The one tip to remember about selling your car to Tesla is all about the trade-in process. and how that comes off the top of the purchase price before taxes. So you actually save money on taxes from. So that actually brings me to tip number 3, which is all about the online ordering process. If you go onto the Tesla's website and look at what the car costs, you have to remember that taxes are on top of that price. So HST is a prime example. You have to add 13% off of the top of that. So the benefit of trading in your car is you're actually reducing that purchase price, and therefore you're actually paying less in HST, so you're effectively getting more for your trade-in. So keep that in mind when you're trading in your car on this. So the next tip is about how you get your car. So I haven't got mine yet, so I can't tell you about the whole process yet, but what I can tell you is that since I live in Ottawa, I basically have 3 options to pick up my Tesla. The first option is to go to the closest Tesla brick and mortar store, and that's in Montreal. So that's a 2-hour drive away from me in another province. This is not something I'm interested in doing. And the main reason for that is that I would then have to pay Quebec taxes, get all the Quebec stuff taken care of. Then once I get into Ottawa, I then have to take it to the Ontario Ministry of Transportation, have it all transferred into Ontario, and then pay the Ontario taxes, and then go back to the Quebec government and ask for my taxes back. This seems like a terrible idea and a terrible process. So your second option is to go to Toronto, to their brick and mortar store there, and pick up the Tesla there. They'll make sure the car's all ready for you, and then you can drive it back to Ottawa at that particular point in time. That's a 5-hour drive for me. I'm not overly interested in doing that. So the third option, which is the one I've asked for, is to have the car delivered to me here in Ottawa. So they'll deliver it to my house, and from that, they'll ask for the license and registration, just to make sure I am who I say I am, and they'll drop it off in my driveway throughout the whole scenario. The one thing to remember about the home delivery is they tell you that they may not take your trade-in right away. What that means is that it can take up to a month for them to take your trade-in and move it out of your driveway, put it someplace. And the reason is they wholesale all the vehicles. So if it's in your driveway, just remember that it could take a month. They could take it away when they drop off your Tesla too. So you never know. Ideally, I'd love them to be able to say, hey, drop it off at the Ottawa center, because there is a Tesla center here in Ottawa, but it's only a service center. So anyways, neither here nor there. We'll talk about that a little later once I actually get the Tesla and can tell you more about it. So the next one is all about charge stations. Clearly, I have to get a charge station for my house. I mean, if you listen, everybody says you need a charge station. It makes sense to get a charge station. I am going to do that. So I haven't actually picked the charge station I'm going to get yet. I have several options. The city of Ottawa offers a tax rebate where they'll sell you a charge station at a reduced rate. You can get the Tesla charge station, and there are other third-party charge stations as well through this thing. There's a lot more to come with that, but what I can tell you is I've talked to a friend of mine who's an electrician, and they will stop by the house, hopefully next week, and tell me the rough cost. The funny part about that is, for those of you who have seen my house, or more appropriately my basement, it's a finished basement, and I'm really expecting that we're going to have to open up the ceiling so that we can snake the wire from the electrical panel to the garage. So that will be an interesting process. More on that to come as that comes along. So I told you about Dan at the beginning of this thing, this video, and one of the things Dan gave me as a piece of advice was that when you buy a Tesla, before you've bought it, you've checked out a lot of blogs and videos about it. And he was right, I had. And then he says, once you buy a Tesla, you're going to watch even more videos and do more searching of the internet. And, you know, when he told me that, I was going, nah, I doubt it. I really doubt that I'm going to go off and do that. Well, I can tell you, and the boss can tell you, he's not lying. You're actually going to check out more videos. I mean, it's interesting. When I was with Dan, he asked me to try to do a donut in the Tesla. The reason being is the Tesla is, or at least the model I'm getting, is a rear-wheel drive car. The same thing with his. It's a rear-wheel drive car. Rear-wheel drive cars are great for doing donuts. Well, not in a Tesla. Tesla actually will not let you do a donut in it. So I was looking at videos on how a Tesla does in the snow and things of that nature. And I won't spoil the punchline for you. Well, I will spoil the punchline. The punchline is it does fantastic in there. But go check out the videos yourself. More on that once I get my Tesla out there. The one thing I'll say is not only did I check out videos, but I started checking out accessories. And there are a ton of accessories for a Tesla. And you can get everything from Tesla logoed lights for your car to floor mats. And I really mean that there is a gambit out there. There are complete websites dedicated to this thing. So with that, really, there's what I want to tell you about is the last couple of things are all around social media. First one is I created a website to talk about my Tesla. It's called MyRedTesla.com. You know, I put up the website. You can see my Tesla up here in the top left, and I'll put out blogs as I have blogs and videos as I have time about it. With that same idea, I did create a Twitter account for those of you who like to follow Twitter. On there, you'll see a lot more about my Tesla, my road trips, that sort of scenario. You'll see that. And at the same vein, I did a Instagram. I figured that the Instagram was a good foray for this. There are ideas that I want to do to customize my Tesla, and I figured that the Instagram was. I figured Instagram is a great way for me to do that. With that, I'm going to sign off. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to contact me, and as always, I'll get back to you when I can. Thanks for watching.